Now, our guest today is Dr. Ronald Cutler, and we're talking about babies' dummies. And according to new research that you've been looking at, Dr. Cutler, these aren't always as hygienic as probably we think they are.
No, unfortunately, what we did find, we targeted specifically looking for dummies that were really very heavily contaminated, not, a few hundred bacteria, but really heavily contaminated. And we found a surprising number, like almost 10%, were very heavily contaminated. We also looked at the types of bacteria on there. Not surprisingly, many of them were associated with the human body, and it's a thing called enterococcus, and it's called Enterococcus faecalis, so it obviously comes from one particular part of the human body.
Right, we can imagine, yes.
And so these organisms were very heavily contaminated in many of the dummies. And the thing that we did also notice as a bit of advice is one of the worst contaminated dummies had been used for a year. And although it was just a small study, I think looking at the data we've got, I would suggest that after 3 or 6 months, parents should consider getting rid of the dummy for the simple reason it's chewed all the time. And when you chew, you change the integrity of the rubber, and it's sort of filled with little canyons and things. So make sure that the dummy's clean. Use a proper sterilizer.
I was going to say, surely most mums would sterilise these things, wouldn't they?
Well, one would hope. We did actually find from dropping dummies directly on surfaces, new ones, that they could also pick up high concentrations of bugs, which is not surprising. You know, some areas of the world are quite heavily contaminated. But generally speaking, there were the type of organisms were different from the ones that you got in the environment. So
makes you wonder how we ever rear our children, doesn't it?
Well, they've got to be introduced to bacteria, but I think introducing them to high levels of bacteria, such as some of these had, probably might give them a little bit of a stomach upset.
Yeah, can obviously be harmful. So where can we go for more information then?
Well, this study was actually sponsored by one of the world's biggest sterilizer, not surprisingly, in Milton, and they've on their website, I believe they've got lots of information on it.
Wonderful. Dr. Ronald Cutler, thank you very much indeed.
A pleasure. Thanks very much.